Hey, checking out YouTube audio 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, 1, 2.
Okay, everyone ready? Good evening. Welcome to the City of Delafield Common Council meeting for December 16th, 2024, coming to order at 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please, Molly.
Sure thing. Alderperson Schaefer?
Here.
Alderperson Valdy?
Here.
Alderperson Wilkin?
Here.
Alderperson Grimmer?
Here.
Alderperson Price?
Here.
Alderperson Berg?
Here.
Alderperson Henry is excused this evening. Mayor Eicher?
Present.
Administrator Hafner?
Here.
All right, item 4, minutes. Looking for approval for minutes of the November 18th, 2024 regular meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of our November 18th meeting.
Second.
Any questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Or abstentions? Okay, minutes passed for November 18th. How about December 2nd?
I move to approve the minutes of the December 2nd meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, any comments, adjustments?
Just one, there's a date on the top that's December 12th. Just change that to December 2nd. We're good.
We found a typo. Are we good with approving it with the amendment
Tiny
12th to the 2nd?
Sorry.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Or abstentions? Okay, December 2nd meetings are approved with corrections. Item 5, City of Delafield citizens comments. Anyone? As there are no citizens speaking, comments are now closed. So 6, consent agenda. There are no items on our consent agenda, so we'll go right on to boards, committees, and commissions. 7A, licenses. There is no licenses to approve this week. Plan Commission.
No meeting, no report. Next meeting is Wednesday.
Very good. Lake Welfare Committee, Alderperson Price.
Our meeting last Wednesday was canceled, but I do want to note that our dredging project was completed on Thursday, and the dredgery moved out to the lake today. So I think everything is done. If you want to see a bunch of cool silt, go up to the park and see this acre or two of 3 feet of silt all laid out. We should make that a city garden, because it'll be the nicest soil in the city. So, but it's all done, and it got done, and a lot of stuff was taken out, so.
Yeah, thanks for everyone involved in that. In particular, Mike Hausman did yeoman's work in being hands-on on the city's behalf as well as private citizens dredging.
Yeah,
So,
but the water's flowing really nice, so we'll see what it looks like in spring, but it'll be cool.
very good. All right. 7D, Park and Recreation Committee, Tree Board.
No meeting, no report.
Okay, Public Works Commission, Alderperson Wilkin.
The committee met on December 4th. No items for discussion for the council tonight.
Okay. Delhart Commission, we had our holiday Christmas party last Friday. We got roast beef tenderloin from Albrecht Century, which was delicious. So I'll just put a plug in for them. They do great catering. But it's good. We're at full staff, and our projects are getting wrapped up. I'll have Rob come in, who's our manager, and give us an update on how the upgrades have gone in first quarter of next year. Police Commission, Alderperson Valdy.
I believe there was a meeting. It was to discuss a personnel issue. I would direct people to minutes under the Police Commission. I was not in the country.
All right. Was that by presidential decree or elective? That was elective.
I was hiding out.
Okay. Library Board, I'll defer you to the minutes. Alderperson Henry is recovering from a cold. I hope she's doing well. And the director's report is in the minutes as well. Zoning Board of Appeals, I don't believe there was a meeting. Promotional and Tourism Commission, Alderperson Valdy.
We had no meeting, but we have one scheduled for January 14th, and that's all I got.
All right, Lake Country Fire and Rescue Commission. I don't believe there was a meeting. Lake Country Fire and Rescue Board, Alderperson Grimmer.
No meeting. The only report I have is to the council is for the 2025 meetings. Please be mindful of where the meetings are held. They are not always going to be at the city of Delafield station. They're migrating next year. The board tried that a couple years ago, and it just kind of reverted back to the city station. But just be mindful if you're planning on attending that they might not be at the city station. They might migrate from Wales to Genesee to Shaniko, et cetera. Next meeting is in January 15th.
All right, thank you. Deer Management Committee, Alderperson Wilkin.
No meeting, no report. Next meeting is going to be in February.
I see plenty of deer, though. Just a comment. So we're continuing to look for volunteers and hunters and volunteer property owners who are willing to help mutual causes. Deer don't like being overpopulated, and we don't like them being overpopulated in our backyard. So, is that correct? I think, okay, thanks. Other committees, commissions, and boards, none. Unfinished business, there are no items unfinished, which is nice, clean slate. Mayor's report, I'll comment on, let's see, so Alderperson Wilkin and I were invited to join a group of select individuals from different areas in the county to be a part of Lake Country Fire and Rescue's promotion team, where we were to evaluate employees looking to move from lieutenant to captain, and how'd it go? Let's see. Firefighter to lieutenant, and lieutenant to captain, yeah. So there was lots of internal candidates, and it was a really rewarding experience for me personally. We got to see and meet and know and interview as part of one of 3 teams. I think there was 6 individuals that we interviewed, and we've got a great staff of people on Lake Country Fire and Rescue, and aspiring to new and better aspects of their career, and I'm sure they've got a tough decision to make on who they promote, because they've got two people that are going to move up, and some that are going to wait their turn, and they all deserve a chance. So it was a good half day of that exercise last week. And on top of that, I've just got to thank and recognize some people that have been here a while. William Hoffman, who's a police sergeant, who's celebrating his 12th year in December. Diane Basting, who's been on our library board, in our library full-time for 19 years. Ryan Jacobs, lieutenant on our police department, who's been here 19 years. And John Sevens III on DPW for 24 years. So if you see them, say thanks for their dedication and loyalty. We must be a decent place to work for, because they stay here for a while. So moving on to new business, discussion and possible action regarding the following items. 10A, action regarding addendum to the City of Delafield contract for legal services effective January 1st, 2025 with Axley Brynelson LLP. So I'll let Tom give a brief overview of this.
Yeah, as you will recall, we appointed Kathy Gutenkunst and Axley as the city attorney in April of 2022. So she's been with us for about 2.5 years. And this is the first time that she's looking for a rate increase. Her current rate, going back to 2022, has been $225 an hour. She is looking for a significant increase to $275 an hour for city work, and then $325 an hour for developer or applicant work that gets passed through to developers. She indicates that this is on par with the industry, and that all of her Lake Country clients went to $300 per hour earlier this year. I will say that originally she was asking for $285, and I did try to talk her down and got her down to $275, but she said she had to go up the chain internally with management to get that approved. So that's for your consideration. Kathy has done a lot of good things for us. She brings a wealth of local knowledge. She always surprises me that she knows who's who and what's going on out here with past history, and She does a lot of good work for the city, as does her associate, Michael Van Clunen.
I think she's been generous in her, I mean, she deserves a raise, is what I guess where I'm going to go, bottom line. I've seen her in action here and in other places, and I know she knows people, she's connected, she's bright, she's also very good at advocating without being confrontational, which is it's a unique skill set. I really do think she's worth whatever we agree to.
Is this something where we go out and we get other, people to apply?
Competitive bids, or?
So is this, so Tom, is this an at-will, this is an at-will kind of contract where if we part ways, we part ways, if we want to try and do something else, or there's not a term, right?
Yeah, if I remember right, there's just a brief notification period. It might be 30 days or something like that. But ultimately, this is a council-appointed position, and the council could consider a different appointment in any manner that they would choose to in the future.
I personally don't have the knowledge to say, hey, this makes sense. I'd like to understand what normal rates are.
They're way higher.
This is not unusual.
Okay.
This seems reasonable. The contract that was in effect, rate required to remain in effect through last April, so the door's open for a rate increase, even with the contract we have. It seems reasonable. I would move to approve the rate increase as proposed.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
The only recommendation I would make is kind of a little bad taste in my mouth from what occurred at our last meeting when there's a screw up on a bill and what she estimated to charge, and then we ended up paying her for something that we didn't need to pay for. So something like that, if that comes up in the future, that we'd have some kind of thing in her contract, how that's handled. I just think that wasn't quite fair. That
The timing seems very,
it's just like, hey, we're giving you an extra $5,000, but then the next 2 weeks later, she asks for a raise. And the two don't go together too well for me.
And again, this raise, she got this to me in September, so it's been pending.
Okay.
It's been challenging for me to, she's been very busy, and I've been trying to get a lower increase, and I was slightly successful with that, but it took a little time to do that.
And this increase has been in effect this current rate has been in effect since 2022.
Correct, April of 2022. April of 2022.
So this is 3 years later. They haven't had an increase.
And the council can take action to propose a review of this at any point if we want to open this up to other services, other attorneys if you'd like. But in the interim, I see there's a motion, so I don't know if there's any other discussion regarding the rate increase to deal with in the short term. All right, with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Abstentions?
Bergen, price on the
yeah.
Okay, so 4 in favor, 2 opposed, motion carries. Okay, next item, 10B, assessor's contract, Magnan Assessment. This is regarding the contract with Magnan Assessment for 2025, which includes a market revaluation. Can you give us an overview of that, please, Tom?
Yeah, so despite the market reval, or the reval that we had done a couple of years ago, we've again fallen below 80% of the ratio as far as our actual assessed value versus market value. So there will be a market adjustment done between March and June of this year. That'll be in place for next tax season. But Cal's contract, he currently has a 2-year contract that expires at the end of this year, and we're proposing a 1-year extension to that, and his pay increase is a 2% increase.
So sorry for surprising you 11th hour time. I know we just talked, but could we include in that Cal's an appearance here sometime in January, February to give an overview of how this revaluation is going to be conducted as far as neighborhood? So I assume it's not going to be like a % blanket increase for commercial, lake, non-lake, resident, rural apartments. It's going to be something other than that.
No, correct. I've talked to him about it, and what he's envisioning, what it will be is, it'll actually be blanket increases, but for much smaller areas, individual neighborhoods based on market activity in different neighborhoods. But yes, we can absolutely coordinate with Cal and be sure to get him in, before the council in the next month or two to, describe, the process.
All right, so looking for motion to, for renewing his contract based on the 2% increase.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in
It is-
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay. Well, welcome back, Cal. We'll see you in January, February, and tell us what you're up to. Item 10C, discussion possible action regarding proposed increase to City of Delafield dog license fees, and adopt Resolution 2024-20, a resolution updating the schedule of fees to reflect the approved dog license fee increase. Looks like Molly's getting ready.
Yeah. So I had provided some correspondence in a packet, I don't know, October-ish, September. The county was considering increasing their fees to cover various expenses. One was their rabies fund got, I guess, pulled from significantly due to, I want to say that there was a goat attack somewhere in the county, and that helped to pay for those expenses related to that situation. So that was part of the reasoning for it. That being said, what they ended up passing was a $2 increase to the dog license fees, specifically to the rabies control program. So it went from $1 per license to $3 per license. If we make no change to our fee schedule, the amount to the city will be reduced by that offset, so we would be getting $2 less per license. Between time and we mail out most of our licenses, so the postage, envelope, et cetera, I estimate each license actually costs us about $5.84 to process between staff time and those supplies. Plus, we also do pay, in addition to the license, the per license fee, we pay an additional cost of $2,617.23 for the Hawes Animal Control. So based on those factors, I am requesting that at minimum, the council would approve an increase to it, just at minimum cover the $2, but in just kind of reviewing the finances for this, I would suggest taking this as an opportunity to perhaps increase the fees a little bit. I'm suggesting to increase the fees to where the amount to the city is a flat $8.75. That will increase the intact male-female fee to $22 per animal. The spayed and neutered fee would be $17 per animal. The intact fee seems like a pretty significant jump, but the reality is we had maybe 10 animals that were intact in the city, so it doesn't really affect a ton of people. The bulk of the residents would see a $3 increase per license, which covers, again, that county, plus it'd be an additional $1 to the city to help cover some of the increase in postage expenses and those types of things that are coming, that have been increasing over the years. We haven't increased the dog fees in quite some time. And to provide a little bit of a comparative, right now, the Village of Heartland, City of Oconomowoc, and the Village of Pewaukee have $20 intact, $15 neutered. That looks like a stagnant rate, so I'm not sure if they would be increasing fees at all based off of the county. I did hear Waukesha, the City of Waukesha is looking to go to like 2025 for their rates, so I think, the increase, if we if you guys would choose to pass either one of them, would not be out of line with what's in the area. Again, we're covering our expenses, essentially. So that summarizes what I've got proposed here. I would ask that if you should choose to proceed with the increase, you would do it in two motions. One to approve whatever increase it is that you would like to approve, and then a second motion to approve the resolution in the packet, which incorporates whatever increase into the fee schedule. Are there any questions?
I've just got a question, Molly. So it looks like even with the increased rates, we wouldn't be able to cover the $5 and change that it costs the city to issue it, plus the Hawes
No,
fee, right?
no, it's not covering the Hawes plus the, just a little bit. We're getting an extra couple $100 to go towards that,
Okay.
so.
Molly, this says 167 tags in 2024.
Yeah,
Okay. I think maybe a deeper discussion should be in the future. We probably have 10 to 20 times that many dogs in the city of Delafield. So maybe this is something that should just be eliminated, but, well, okay.
Good point. Molly, what is the penalty for not having a license? Is there one?
there can be, and there's a animal at large ticket that the PD can issue. I don't know the exact fee on that. We can look it up in the municipal code if you'd like to give me a few.
And there's a $10 late fee for a
There's a
license.
$10 late fee if they don't get it in before April. I don't believe the animal at large fee is very high, probably $100-ish, but
What's the benefit of getting a dog licensed in the city of Delafield besides revenue for the city?
well, they're for the city of Delafield or for the resident?
I'm open to
So
either.
The benefit to the resident would be that if their animal does get loose, they wouldn't get an animal at large ticket. It is required for dogs to have a dog license. The benefit to the city is that we track the information related to their rabies. So we can determine if they have current rabies when they get the license. We keep that information. So if somebody does get bit, we have all of that lot serial information from the rabies vaccination.
Assuming that the probably 10% of dogs that are licensed in the city are,
Correct.
okay,
Good future topic, perhaps.
I'm gonna, that's my new agenda item now, I'm gonna put it on.
All right, so as for the rates, do we have a motion on increasing the rates?
So we have option one, which is again just that $2 increase to match what the county did, or option two, which includes the flat rate, well, the increase to the flat rate where the 22, the not neuter would be 22 and the spade would be 17, so.
I'll make a motion to move forward with option two.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Or abstentions? Okay. New rates for dog licenses. How about the fee schedule at large?
The,
Don't you
yep, just,
incorporate that into the fee schedule?
to approve resolution 2024-20.
There we go, 2024-20. We need that resolution.
I need a secondary motion to approve the resolution to incorporate.
I'll move to approve Resolution 2024-20.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Or abstentions? Okay,
Who had the second, Wilkin? Okay, so I just,
great.
thank you.
New fee schedule in place.
Thank you.
Okay, item 10D, discussion and direction regarding conceptual review of the first draft of the request for proposal for a compensation study.
Alrighty, So the deputy clerk prepared the draft RFP for the classification and compensation study. I don't believe she reinvented the wheel too much here. This is likely from another RFP that we pulled from, I think she's been looking at the one from Janesville quite a bit. I will say item number in the scope, E, was specifically added to address Alderperson Henry's concerns, the identify and comment on staffing, organizational structure, and evaluate for long-term growth. So that was added to address that. I'm not sure if we missed anything or if the council has any additional items that they'd like us to incorporate or remove, or questions, concerns, comments. We do need to try to move this along. We reached out to some of the possible vendors, and in order to have everything kind of ready to go by that July, August timeframe, we really kind of have to have a final ready for approval in January.
Could we discuss section 3, project scope, first paragraph? The study shall evaluate the city's present salary, blah, 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 for comparable positions in the private and public sectors. Why would we do a private assessment? Why would we compare the public sector to the private sector?
I think it's important to compare public and private in order to keep them competitive. There, I think, are opportunities to compensate one side versus the other when you're speaking to your, maybe public sector benefits. But I think it's important that we are at least understanding where we at with the private sector, because we're all, employees are looking in usually all the job markets and not necessarily public sector, or specifically one or the other. You can be a DPW worker, a maintenance person, that's public, private. PD, maybe not so much, that's kind of more streamlined, but.
I understand that rationale, and it's sound. I would argue that the greater weight might be placed on narrowing the scope just to the public sector, because there are different industries, manufacturing, healthcare, IT. An administrator in IT right now, say at Rake Labs, probably makes 10 times what an administrator in the public service makes, or in manufacturing. So I think there are industry differences, and the more we can narrow the scope to have a apples-to-apples comparison would be advantageous. The public sector is unique in that it doesn't, I guess, suffer from the business cycle. We haven't had a lot of ups and downs, I think, with the business cycle as we have had in the past, recession, economic growth, et cetera, but there is job stability in the public sector. So I would probably look to strike the scope and strike the word private. But I'm curious what others think.
Good comments. The industries are radically different.
So Molly, as a conceptual review, do you want to take this feedback? If there's any more that's to come, are you looking for a motion to change it tonight?
I am looking for feedback that we will incorporate into a final version to be
Okay.
approved in
So
January.
that's a piece. Is there more? You
That's
know,
my feedback.
Okay. No, that's good. And
It's a good comment.
I guess, so in general, other people have nodding their heads, is that council feel in union on that, or in general? Like, does that sound like something that narrowing the scope to that aspect makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to help Molly weight it as far as what we come back with. All right. Any other comments or suggestions for changes to this? All Right, going twice, 3 times, okay. Does that help, Molly? Apparently it's good enough. We have a little change and then we'll see it in our next meeting, right?
Yeah, I think Tom has some
Oh,
comments too, but
I haven't had a chance to do a full review, so that's why we did this as a conceptual here, because I still want to have some input, but that is one of the comments that I had about including the private in there. It makes the scope quite large. I don't even know where you define the scope at that point. I know our 2003 PAR study did not include the private side of things, and, it's kind of a fundamental choice to work on in private versus public industry, and I'm on board with the comment about limiting it to public entities.
I think one of the things that I would like to see added to this, as part of the RFP, to request that the pricing on some of these be sectioned off, so that it's kind of, if there's something that maybe is a little less important and it puts us over our budgetary amount, we can kind of pick and choose a little bit. I don't know if the council would agree that that's something that would be worthwhile.
I'll weigh in as mayor, not the council member, but that makes the response more difficult on their end. But you may ask for feedback if there's you might want to ask them if there's an item in here that seems unduly burdensome, on their own discretion, line item it, as opposed to saying you want a kind of a la carte menu, because I think that'll drive the price up. If people think they think that the cost is going to be $18,000 and it might be whittled down to $8,000, they're likely to make it like a $30,000 menu in total, as opposed to just giving them an opportunity to opt out of something based on cost. That's doing RFPs myself. That's what I would suggest, but I don't know what other people think.
I'd agree with that.
All right, we're good on this? Okay, anything else you want to throw out there, since you got our ears, Molly?
I don't think so, just that if anybody does, review this in further detail and there's something else that really is screaming that it needs an update, please let us know sooner rather than later so we can make those adjustments.
Regarding the private sector, maybe the provider could give us a logical benchmark. What industry is a good benchmark versus the public sector? Or maybe you guys know, who are you competing with for employees in the private sector? That we can target 1 or 2 sectors that make the most sense.
All right, and as you do your
know.
second reading, just give feedback to Molly and copy Tom. Then they both have a good benchmark to move forward. All right, item 10E, discussion how the city came up with a 7 o'clock time for council meetings when most other meetings are at 6 by Alderperson Price.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Paul?
The thought process I had on this is we probably have the most meetings of any other group, and many times have some of the longer meetings. Not all the time. Tonight might be a little shorter, but some nights, go till 10, 11 o'clock at night. So to get a little earlier start, I think might help people get a more timely meeting. I don't think the public would have much of an impact getting here at, say, 6:30 instead of 7. I think then the city employees, as Tom put in his thing, they wouldn't have any issue getting home a little bit earlier. So I'd like just to, for further discussion, make a motion to change our meeting dates till 6:30 instead of 7.
Well, this is for discussion, not action, but.
Oh, just discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
To make that change, we'd have to come back at the next meeting with an ordinance that you guys would approve.
Okay.
does anyone else have feedback on this? Because I have a ton, but.
Yeah, I mean,
I
is
do.
there, for city staff is I guess one of my public comments, and city staff, I can be here whenever. I think all of us can, for the most part. But is there a advantage to city staff in terms of pay and overtime and quality of life to having it 30 minutes earlier? I'm indifferent. I'm just curious.
I can't answer the city staff, so go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, as far as overtime, it's not very often that we've got an employee here who's hourly. And when they do, they'll typically go home and then come back for the meeting. And then some of our employees, like our Public Works employees, if we ever need to have one here to give a presentation, they've got a 2-hour minimum anyways to come in. But yeah, as far as staff, it would be convenient and a quality of life benefit to have a earlier meeting, but that's not to say that a 7 o'clock meeting is overly problematic either.
I'd say our citizen and public convenience is the number one driver in my mind. 6 o'clock, could be a challenge if you work full-time and you have to go home and get here, or you have to come straight here and, let's not ask our citizens to skip dinner to show up for a meeting. I'm retired. Paul, you're retired. We're pretty darn flexible. If I was still working and you said these meetings were at 6 o'clock, I'd have to resign just because of a work, a kind of a normal work schedule. That said, I got it easy. I'm retired, but just thinking of working people.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Trying to
more,
show up.
yeah, citizen participation, not so much common council members, but I think people who have kids in sports and, multiples to pick up or schedules to go to, sometimes a 7 o'clock meeting, I too am a bit indifferent. But yeah, if you have kids who are, they have a track meet or whatever, it's going to be hard to be there and then be here for a meeting. And the whole point of having these meetings, even though it's Christmas time and no one's here, so that people can be here and can make the meetings. And it is a very rare, I've been, this week I'm closing 12 years on the Common Council, and I can count on one hand the number of times we've gone beyond like 10 p.m. It's very rare that we meet late. I don't really mind. I can walk here, and I too am retired, so it's cool. But I think as far as citizen participation, we definitely want to think about that, and I'm not sure how to go about that.
And that's most important for Common Council and Plan Commission because we have the biggest participation at these meetings. So 7 o'clock, I think is good for the public.
Yeah, what this time it does allow is family meals. You get after dinner and someone can come to a meeting, so that is very nice to have that.
And I would say that 7 o'clock, I never had to put the kids to bed. So that was a big win for me. So
I touched base with Danielle, and if she's faking it, she's really good. She's sick. She can barely talk. But I called her on this tonight, and with my kids when I first started on council. I mean, I could actually hustle home from work, coach soccer, get home, see that, grab a bite of what was still there and get here, and or when I didn't have something like that going on, have dinner with the kids and get them on track with homework, and then know that they were tucked in when I got. So selfishly, I'd say as a working council member and with kids, it worked out as I would say 7:30 would be better. But my wife probably would too. But so I think this is going to be split, and we'd be looking to see who we advantage or disadvantage. And it's been 7 forever. Mm-hmm. So I'd just weigh in like I'd let inertia take its course, but we can bring it up again if we want. But so the reason it was established, I don't know. But the people who sign up for both the council and employees here know what it is, and changing it would be for a reason that might disadvantage people, so, I don't know. But Danielle said, absolutely 7. Don't make it earlier. So that's her voice here, because she doesn't have one. But
Well, and I would
Just
like
like she
to
gets here about
just say-
6:15 though.
just because she's doing her final homework. She's doing her final.
I would just like to say that we shouldn't move it forward to 6:30 and in essence exclude people that are still in their working lives. I mean, we don't want this to be a retired group. We'd like to have some younger
City is getting
opinions.
younger,
said he is getting younger.
surprisingly.
All right, so that's a discussion. We can, when we get to council requests for future agenda items, we can revisit it if we want to bring it back up, so.
I think I'm
Any other
getting, I
comments?
don't think the city's getting younger. I think I'm getting older.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so item 10F, approval of vouchers payable report for December and November. Motion to pay the bills.
I'll move to approve the vouchers payable 12/4/24 to 12/31/24 and 11/18/24 to 11/20/24.
I second.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, or abstentions? Okay, bills are paid. Item 11, report of city officials, city administrator.
The only thing I have to mention is we've got a kind of a exciting project on the horizon. It's still 5 years out, but we do have a planning meeting with Wisconsin Department of Transportation coming up here in January that myself, the police chief, and the fire chief will be attending. And that's for the replacement of the County Trunk Highway C Bridge over I-94. I have touched base with some initial questions, and they are planning on including bicycle lanes in both directions, sidewalk in one direction. They are not planning on doing anything significant with the overall interchange or the intersections of the ramps and Highway C. So those are the initial questions I had, but just want to give the council and the public a heads up that that is a project that is on the horizon and we look forward to.
Tom, do you know when in January the meeting is?
Yeah, so in the packet, there's the notice, and it
Oh,
is
I didn't
January
see it.
15th. My understanding is it's primarily an internal staff meeting and not necessarily a public meeting. I could be
Okay.
wrong with that, but it is also a Zoom meeting, so if anybody wanted to attend, I would encourage them just sending a quick email to that DOT contact in the correspondence and confirming that it's okay for attendance beyond staff.
Yeah, Tom, I was invited to that as well, and I'm planning to attend.
I did see it. There was 3 council members that was included on the invite list, and one of the 3 was Wayne Dean.
Yeah. Mark
And the other
forwarded
was-
it on to me, and so I contacted Christine and gave her the update on the,
Okay,
There was also a former mayor on there too, on their list.
I saw that as well, yeah.
Yeah, I'd suggest focusing it, you might want to be all ears in these first ones,
Yeah.
don't you think? And then thinking about, maybe that's a topic for discussion we'll have after that meeting to see, maybe unify our own thoughts as a council and a city to give them some direction that's concrete as opposed to like 8 different directions that would be nice, something that we might want to unify together.
Yeah, I mean, this first meeting is usually extremely mundane details like, okay, hey, city, do you have any water main or sewer main that crosses the bridge that we have to be thinking about? Or, hey, Wisconsin Electric, do you have gas facilities or electric facilities we got to be worried? Those kind of level of details.
I got 2 different versions of the, of the notice, and one does say local official meeting, so it sounds like we are welcome to attend.
Like, if we are, like Tom suggested, it'd be good to confirm, but
Yeah.
just as a point of guidance, I'd like the city to be unified in any direction we give, so that not one voice is maybe trumped over others as far as, you know, do we want a wolf on the wall? You know, sometimes you're asked to decorate them, or do we want, you know, do we want to put money on decorating, or do we want to put money on widening it, or something like that? I mean, I think it'd be good to get together as a team and focus our direction to the DOT as far as what the whole community's behind.
It's funny you mentioned that, Tim, because Art Ballman, who works for the DOT and he's on our Public Works Committee, he did mention that the city will have the opportunity to put a little bit of art on the bridge. You're not allowed to put your city name on there. You can't write City of Delafield. but that we'll have the opportunity, say, if we want the sailboat logo to be on the bridge, to have something like that.
Or a picture of the mayor or something like that, huh?
Yeah, there we go. So that's where I'm getting to. All right, so stay tuned on that. Anything else, Tom?
No, that's it for this evening.
Okay, 11B, City Clerk, Delhart Utility Rate Increase Adjustment processed. I just read what you're going to say, I think.
So I worked with our accounting company and they were able to import an adjustment for the Q3 rates for Delhart. So residents will see that additional funding on the Q4 billing. It was a significant amount, so that totaled out to almost $38,000 that we would have if we had not retroactively passed that fee increase. So the majority of customers, well, it's a large sum. Most customers will see about $18 as an increase this quarter, and that's covering the Q3 increase and the Q4 increase combined. And then in Q1, there's another increase that they'll see for Delhart too. So I'm working through all that. I do have the communicator going out, so I have information on the increase in the communicator, because that does go out to all the households. And as Mayor Eicher had mentioned the last time, I'm working on how to include a note on the bills, but we have very limited space. If you've received the bills, it's a postcard. All that blueprint is pre-printed, so I have like a tiny corner to work with. So I'm working on at least having some sort of a notifier on the actual bill so people can at least know where to look or understand what the increase is regarding. So that's it for that. And then any questions about that information? Okay. The other item that we have, the candidacy paperwork, I did send out an email in the beginning of the month to the current incumbents. The information is also posted online on the city website, elections, candidates getting on the ballot. If anybody does need any paperwork printed out, if they would like to let me know, I can go ahead and have that ready for them at any point. I will say, I do tend to take some vacation this time of year because it's a little bit of a slow gap in my season. So I will not be in the office starting next week through New Year's. I do plan on being back at least 1 or 2 days after New Year's. So the 2nd for sure I'll be in. I'm not sure about the 3rd. So if there is anybody who is thinking about turning in paperwork and needs assistance, please, if you're aware that there is somebody, if you can have them reach out to me this week yet, that would be ideal. Crystal can help, but she's not as well versed in the candidacy because I have kind of held that close to the chest. So but yeah, so limited time frame. Please reach out to me sooner rather than later to have that. Any assistance. That's it. That was a short story long. Sorry about that, guys.
All good, thank you. So City Treasurer, you can see the report in the packet. Is there any requests for future agenda items?
Dog licensing,
And-
action and discussion on dog licensing, the ordinance.
And like enforcement?
Like the viability of the ordinance
Oh, okay. All right,
and enforcement. Why not wrap
Yeah.
it all up?
all right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, very good. So from there, we'll go into item 13, announcement of matters for possible closed session. The council would reconvene in open session after completion of the closed session in order to consider the balance of the agenda. So what I'm looking for is a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to the following provisions. Motion to convene in closed session pursuant to provisions of Wisconsin Statute 1985 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, more specifically regarding the performance and review and compensation of the city administrator, director of public works.
So moved.
Second.
That's Jacob and Mark. Roll call vote, please.
Alderperson Schaefer,
Aye.
Alderperson Valdy,
Aye.
Alderperson Wilkin,
Aye.
Alderperson Grimmer,
Aye.
Alderperson Price,
Aye.
Alderperson Berg.
Aye.
All right,
Motion carries.
so we are now in closed session. Okay, now at 8:47, we're looking for a motion to reconvene into open session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'll go with Matt and Paul. Okay, and it's 8:47. So Schaefer,
Aye.
Valdy,
Aye.
Wilkin,
Aye.
Grimmer,
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
Berg.
Aye.
Okay, back in open session at 8:47 PM. Discussion and possible action discussed in closed session. Does anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to increase the city administrator's compensation 2.5% effective January 1st with an additional 2.5% July 1st.
Second.
You too.
I'm going with.
You getting it in stereo
Said
there,
that,
Matt?
was that Wilkin?
That was Dirk.
I'll give Dirk that one.
Who gave the second?
It was a tie.
Okay. Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay, motion carries unanimously. For lack of other business, we are now dismissed at 8:48. Thank you.